misfortune is coming.
Yeah, could you not do that? That's a bit creepy. Huh? And just where is it coming from? I answered lightheartedly, trying to break the tension in the air. At that moment, Maria held up a finger, raised her arm high, and pointed to the heavens. When I looked up, I saw that the sky was still just as cloudy, but it had grown a great deal more leaden than it had been that morning. That's right, they were saying that a typhoon was approaching. We had planned to spend one night on the island, but if this storm doesn't pass quickly, I won't be able to make it to school on Monday. Well, I guess it makes for a pretty good excuse to be absent. She apparently sensed some kind of misfortune in this cloudy sky. She's been muttering that non-stop for a while now. Girls at Maria's age tend to be very impressionable. She's just about the age that many girls start to get excited about sixth senses and whether they have any psychic potential and stuff. For all we know, this might be due to her childish sensitive nature. It's okay, Maria-chan. The weather might get worse tonight, but tomorrow it'll clear up and become a pretty blue sky.
Pretty blue sky?
That's right, by tomorrow it'll be a pretty blue sky. There's no rain that doesn't end and no clouds that never clear.
Rain that doesn't end? Clouds that never clear?
You're not supposed to only repeat that. That makes it sound even worse. Only Satan coming to get you. I know the typhoon's coming, but soon it'll go away. It'll be okay, Maria. Oh dear. No. Maria started yelling. It looked as though she was having a tantrum because no one could understand what she was trying to say. What in the world is Maria trying so desperately to warn us about? Probably nothing good. Unable to understand her, we couldn't help but feel a vague sense of misfortune. I've heard that everyone can feel the supernatural, but that it weakens as you age. Entschuldigung, Christian. Vielleicht sollte ich dich vorwarnen. That might mean that Maria, the youngest one of us all, still possessed some kind of sense that the rest of us had lost. I wonder if that sense is sending her a warning. At that moment, Kumasawa-san quietly opened her mouth.
Rumor has it that long ago Rokkenjima was...
Kumasawa-san, let's not talk about that now. Oh, come on, that sounded like something interesting. Just as Kumasawa-san was about to tell some kind of story, Jessica sharply interrupted her. Jessica's tone was extremely firm for her. Does she know something? I wanted to push her further just out of simple curiosity, but judging by the look on Jessica's face, whatever Kumasawa's Bachan was likely to say would probably make Maria even more uneasy. If I did try to press her for the story, the odds were pretty good that it wouldn't be anything bright and cheery. Could you just tell us later?
I do apologize about that. The wind here is hard to bear for the elderly, so if you would excuse me for now.
Gossipers have no reason to hang around after they've been told to stop chatting. When Kumasawa-san finally realized that she'd overstepped her bounds, she went back inside the boat. After she left, Uncle Hideyoshi showed up in her place. Since he'd arrived mid-conversation, he completely failed to notice the complicated atmosphere that hung about the scene, so he refreshingly and unwittingly swept that atmosphere aside. So in the end, it was his lack of tact that brightened the mood.
Looks like we're almost there. Okay, just a bit more. Took forever at the speed we went today, didn't it? Wonder whose fault that was.
Uncle Hideyoshi, give me a break already. Come on, don't stop there. Seriously, thanks to Bettler here, it's taking forever. Maria probably thought that everyone was refusing to listen to her. She hung her head, wearing a fretful expression. Maybe she's the first to die. As she did, George Aniki crouched down to meet her eyes and spoke to her kindly. Maria-chan, there's nothing to be afraid of, because we're all together. There's nothing to be afraid of if we're together. Go ahead and say it.
There's nothing to be afraid of if we're together.
Yes. There's nothing to be afraid of if we're with each other.
Yeah, I saw that. Maybe he's a Satanist.
That's right, exactly what George Aniki said. If we stick together, there'll never be anything at all to be afraid of. Right, Jessica?
Yeah, no doubt about that. What George Nissan says is always true, Maria.
Except for the demons. I'm sure that's gonna go down well with her.
George and Nichan, always true.
Yes, I don't lie. So trust me, there's nothing to be afraid of if we are all together.
George and Nichan doesn't lie. I trust you. There's nothing to be afraid of if we're all together. Not afraid.
Maria jumped into George Aniki's arms and hugged him tightly. After Aniki patted her head, she jumped away again. Her facial expression had undergone a 180-degree change, turning back to normal. She was once again the ordinary Maria.
There's nothing to be afraid of anymore because we're together.
Yeah, that's it. You look all better now. You're strong and that's awesome.
I'm awesome.
Hey, now what's going on here? Maria-chan didn't get seasick, did she?
Well, something like that. We'll be arriving soon.
The harbor was already drawing near. Oh. Was bedeutet das denn jetzt? Achievement unlocked. Welcome to Rokkenjima. The boat gave a big shudder. Seems we've docked at the harbor. The boat driver came out and jumped to the pier with the rope. A large man in a tuxedo was waiting there for us with a warm smile. I didn't recognize his face, but judging by his clothes, I guess he was a servant of the Ushiromiya head household. Welcome home, my lady. You were so late in returning that I began to worry. Ah, okay. And the episodes on the title screen are different from the chapters, right? Like every episode has a few chapters. By the way, if you haven't noticed, there are two parts to this game. One is called the Questions arc, and the other one is called the Answers arc. So I suppose the first arc will just give us loads of questions, and the second one will then answer all of them. Oh, thanks for caring. This moron got so scared we had to slow down. It was seriously annoying. Shut up. Someday when the shoe's on the other foot, you'll remember this. At this rate, word will spread to the whole family and I'll be the big conversation piece during dinner. Even without this, everyone would be talking about me because of that 6-year gap, but now I've given them an even juicier topic. Damn it, why does the Ushiromiya head family have to live on this isolated island? In the meantime, the boat had finished its mooring. A small plank was lowered so that we could get down. One by one, our parents came up from inside the boat. You must all be quite tired from your long trip. Madam, please allow me to assist you.
Thank you. It's been a while, Gora-san. How are you?
I thank you for your concern. It is always my pleasure to serve.
Battler-kun, isn't this your first time meeting Gora-san? If I'm not mistaken, you weren't working here 6 years ago, right?
Indeed. So please allow me to greet him for the first time. It is an honor to meet you, Battler-sama. I'm pretty confident about my height, but you're huge. This is definitely our first meeting. I'd never forget meeting a big guy like you. It's a pleasure. I'm Battler. I was looking forward to meeting you. I am Goda, your servant, and I have been working for the Ushiromiya head family since the year before last. It is a pleasure to make your acquaintance. If there is anything you need, please feel free to rely on me at any time. Goda-san, it's been some time. It has been too long, George-sama. Please allow me to assist you.
As usual, you're pro at welcoming guests. If you ever need a job, just let me know, okay? I'd hire you anytime.
You do me too much honor. Please allow me to assist you, Hideyoshi-sama. Goda-san then lent a hand to everyone as they disembarked, greeting them as they passed. His speech and mannerisms had the refined polish of a professional. He was very graceful in contrast with his initially tough-looking appearance. His large size made him seem a bit scary at first, but he was much more polite than my first impression had led me to believe. He claimed to have served on the island for 2 years, but he had doubtless worked at a similar job somewhere before. After everybody disembarked, the mooring rope was untied and the boat started to steer away from the harbor. It was probably returning to its home port on Nijima, and much faster than on the way here, I would assume. The captain waved his hand in farewell. Maria conscientiously waved her hand back. Now that I think about it, that must be why I felt something out of place for a while now. I can't hear the cries of the seagulls. Umineko is a seagull. Umineko no nakokoro ni means something like when the seagulls cry. Seagulls? The birds? If I remember correctly, whenever we came to this island in the past, the seagulls always greeted us with their lively nya nya cries. Because of that, whenever I hear the cries of seagulls anywhere else, I get the feeling that I'm coming to a family conference. Except for the small part of the island where those of the Oshiromiya family live, Rokkenjima has been left uncultivated, which apparently makes it a paradise for wild birds. Supposedly, there was a cliff somewhere that housed a huge seagull colony, so this island was always full of seagulls. Not having those seagulls here to greet us made me feel a bit lonely. Very, yeah, nice. What's wrong, Betla-kun? Oh, Aunt Rosa, oh, no, it's nothing really. I was just thinking it's a bit lonely without the cries of the seagulls. Why, that's true, now that you mention it. Even though they're always so noisy, today there isn't one to be seen. It's because of the misfortune that is approaching all of you. Why no seagulls? Maybe it's because the seagulls are having a get-together somewhere too. Maria, did you want to see the seagulls? I wanted to see them. Still, it's a bit strange there isn't even a single one around. Maybe Jessica grilled them all and ate them. Yeah, that's a thing you should tell in front of a child. The hell, don't say disturbing stuff like that. You get Maria believing it. Yeah, Jessica needs and grilled them. I did not. Why the hell would I do something like that? That's right. Jessica grilled them. Skin and meatballs, liver and onion. Swim and meatballs, liver and onion. Mmm. As I made fun of Jessica, Maria tagged along, looking like she was having fun. Oh, I never guessed she was such a good sport. Alrighty then, from today on I'll make you my #1 follower. What, are we on Twitter? As I smiled at her, she beamed, looking overjoyed, possibly because she was happy about this little connection we'd made with each other. That's not it, Maria-chan. I've heard wild birds are attuned to changes in the weather and atmospheric pressure. The weather will probably get worse tonight. The seagulls might have returned to their nests early. Not grilled. Oh yeah, it's the red-haired guy who's doing the narration. Jessica didn't grill them? No, I wouldn't do something like that. Battler, you admit right now that you lied. Battler-kun, Maria-chan is a naive girl, so she takes even jokes seriously. You should choose your jokes more carefully. George Aniki gently scolded me. Even though I outstripped Aniki in height, Aniki was Aniki, of course. There was no choice but to obediently apologize. Sure, my bad. Maria, that was a joke. The seagulls are all taking it easy in their nests today, that's all. Battler lied? George told the truth? Had she actually been tricked despite all that fun she was having? Her pure eyes made me feel guilty. Maybe I went a little overboard with her after all. Yeah, that's right. What George said is true. The weather is bad, so they probably went home for the day. It doesn't mean they're gone. Right, Aunt Rosa? That's right. Tomorrow when the weather gets better, I'm sure they'll come back so we can hear them cry meow meow like they always do. If the weather gets better. I'll wait until the weather gets better and they come back. Gonna wait until tomorrow. Gonna wait until the weather's better. Maria was in a lighter mood and was looking forward to tomorrow when the seagulls would come back and fill the skies. Or would they? Still, George really was amazing at taking care of kids. I think I remember Aniki taking good care of me as well when I was a brat 6 years ago. Aniki, that's probably your gift. George-kun is amazing at taking care of young kids. If you wanted to, I'll bet you'd do great with a job in childcare, don't you think? Yeah, it's almost like George Nissan was born to do something like that. Personally, I think that'd suit you better than doing business in some company president's office. I know, childcare is a fine career path, but it's not a job where merely liking children is enough. You really are modest, George-kun, but Butler-kun is quite good with children too. Just a second ago, even though it didn't last long, Maria seemed to be having a lot of fun. Please keep on playing with her like you did just now. Just choose your jokes more carefully, okay? Aunt Rosa winked at me, giggling a little. She's a real mother, I thought to myself, who was happy to see Maria having fun.
Come on, Rosa. And you brats too, what the hell are you doing? Let's get going.
Okay, we're coming. The old bastard was waving for us to hurry up. Yeah, we needed to get moving. We might as well have this conversation after seeing our luggage down in our rooms. Now then, everyone, allow me to lead you to the guest house, where you will be spending the night. I was about to read Gust House, which I also now am picturing a house where it's always windy. Please this way. Gora-san called to everyone and led the way. Kumasawa-san brought up the rear. Nice, good old Japanese stairs. A serpentine twisting path led through a dim forest. It ran a bit uphill. I'd guess the path was made all twisty so the slope wouldn't seem too steep, but personally I'd have been happier if they'd had the guts to make some stairs in a straight line. No doubt they'd made the path to twist on purpose, to put on airs of distance and importance. Before long, we saw garden-style stone steps. From here on I do have some memories. Go up these, and at the top of the stone steps we saw a beautiful guest house. It's probably pretty windy there too. Its facade was lovely, of course, but more importantly, we couldn't enter its doors without having our hearts stolen away by the splendor of the beautiful rose garden spreading before it. I like this a lot. I like this kind of isolated mansion setting. It's one of my favorite settings. That's why I really like Resident Evil 1 as well. One of my uncles was a forester, a Förster in German, who and he had a house. They had like almost was like a Bauernhof. You know, I know the word, I just can't remember it right now. It was in the middle of the forest, and it also had this like really cool isolated mansion in the forest atmosphere, which was really fun to play there during the day with lots of different animals, cats and horses, goats, sheep, dogs, all kinds of animals. Almost like a farm, but also like an isolated mansion in the forest with an extra chicken scoop and all that. And at night it was actually pretty creepy in a positive way. That was really cool as well. No snakes, fortunately. But I don't know if it's because of that, but I really like this isolated mansion setting and stories and everything. It was... No, he didn't have Australian fucking huntsman spiders. Anyway, let's continue a little bit more and then I have to stop.
Raw, it's as beautiful as ever this year. A real delight for the eyes.
After climbing the stone steps, the people greeted by this rose garden gave voice to their impressions one by one. Quite a beautiful song right now as well. Is it just me, or are the flowers a little less lively this year? It's probably because it wasn't that hot this summer. I also believe that was a factor. Sadly, this year's blooming is a tad inferior when compared to last year's. Even so, it was a delightful rose garden. I remembered that even 6 years ago, huge numbers of roses had greeted us every year. This rose garden was the first thing that greeted the people who came to Rokkenjima. Even our parents, who came every year, couldn't help but give voice to their admiration. In fact, it seemed to have undergone a power-up from the garden in my memories of 6 years ago. This place is always so amazing. It would be wonderful to have a rose garden like this at home.
Give it up. Who do you think would take care of it? Roses are a real pain with bugs and diseases to worry about.
Oh, someone is very romantic, apparently. Well, from what I've heard, Kiri-san takes care of her rose every day and makes sure no bugs get anywhere near it, right? Huh? What are you talking about? That's right. Though in this person's case, the rose goes after the insects like some nasty carnivorous plant. Oh, so that's what you mean. Come on, Rosa, can't you give that a rest just for today? I've put that sort of thing completely behind me. I wonder, after all, you're a womanizer on an almost genetic level. No need to worry, Rosa-san. When a rose gives you too much trouble, it's always best to snip it at the root.
Oh, such frightening talk this is.
Guys who play with the ladies are always forced to live dangerously. I sure hope I turn out a bit prettier in my next life. Yoshini-san, like I keep saying, it isn't like that at all. And curious, stop it, you're freaking me out. You've made my rose wilt.
Hey Maria-chan, look over here. These roses are especially magnificent.
Magnificent roses.
Smells pretty sweet. Look, this suits my elegance perfectly. Hey, cut it out. Maria's gonna imitate you and get hurt by the thorns. She yelled at me as I leaned in to smell the rose's scent with an exaggerated gesture. I thought she was overreacting, but when I turned around, I saw Maria imitating my every gesture and George Aniki smiling broadly at us. Hey now, Maria-chan, be careful. Rose thorns can hurt.
George Aniki-chan, only this rose is strange.
Strange? What's wrong? Maria pointed at a single rose. I immediately understood why she found it odd. In the midst of all these magnificent roses, one single rose was just starting to wilt. Oh, it's another bad omen, isn't it? There wasn't any particular reason. Some roses flourish and others wilt. That's all there was to it. Was it? But Maria seemed very concerned about the only unhealthy one in the group. It must have made her feel lonely. So you feel sad for this rose because it's the only one that isn't healthy?
The others are all healthy, but this one's sad.
Well, they all bloom and wither at their own paces. I'll bet this one's just starting to wilt early because it got to bloom before any of the others. Yeah, that's right. It probably just bloomed like crazy, fulfilled its duty and went to sleep. You shouldn't get so worked up about it. It seemed that Maria's pure sensitive nature was making her feel some emotional pain for the rose that wilted alone. Even though she understood the logic of it, it still felt lonely to her. Then, Maria-chan, why don't you look after this rose until we leave? George Aniki straightened up and felt around in his pocket. He then took out the wrapper from the candy he had been sucking on the plane. He twisted it into a thin string, then gently tied it to the rose as a sort of marker. Hey, that's pretty cute. Let's mark it with this. Later on, you can come and give it some water. I'm sure Mr. Rose will be happy.
Come to give it water.
I think you'd give Mr. Rose here a name. I'm sure that'll make it happy, and you'll get to know it a little better.
A name?
A name. Though she still wore her usual sullen face, Maria crossed her arms and began to consider this intently. At the very least, she appeared to have been completely pulled out of her slump. Nice going, Aniki. Judge Nissan has always been really understanding. Can't help but respect him. Yeah. I guess he was just born that way. We've got to start picking up tips.
Was this garden just as magnificent when you all were kids?
It was only after I stopped living here that it grew so big. Before that, the garden was simpler, though I'm still attached to that one. Nissan fiddled with it too much, with that vaguely bad taste of his. I liked it much better before.
Eva, you've got to think positive. Setting aside how it used to look, its beauty now is something to be admired. You'll be able to relax a lot better if you look at it that way.
Didn't mean it like that. I was just saying that I wanted you to see this garden the way it was before, too.
Rose-kun.
Everyone, if you please, I shall guide you to your rooms now. Okay, and that is where we will go next time. Almost 10 o'clock. I usually do from 8 till 10 o'clock, sometimes a bit longer, but since I'm still a bit sick today, and also Aiden is going crazy over there, I think 10 is a good place to stop for now. And yeah, I'm pretty interesting. I'm pretty curious already where this is going to go, especially since I've heard so many good things, and even had it compared to some of the craziest stories I know. And as I said, I like the setting a lot. I'm really interested in what's going to happen here, especially with the foreshadowing already. Maria saying some pretty ominous things, and since the game has a horror tag as well, I'm pretty sure it's not going to stay as beautiful and quiet for long. And then there's a mysterious talk at the beginning of a witch and all that, and demons coming for his soul when he dies and whatnot. Yeah, I'm very curious. Can't wait to see where this will go. So, okay, I hope it was interesting for you as well. I mean, it's a bit different from normal stuff since it doesn't have any gameplay at all. But as I have been told many times, the story is supposed to make up for everything, and I really want to see I really want to see where it goes. So I guess that's it for today, and maybe we'll see each other again next Sunday, or in chat and messengers and whatnot. So that's it for today. Goodbye, good night.